This episode of Cold Cans is brought to you by Blue Apron. You know what goes great with an ice-cold can of beer? Yeah, dinner. And Blue Apron's got it. Blue Apron is changing the way that America eats. In a traditional supply chain, ingredients are often picked way before they're ripe so that they can withstand the journey through the hands of many middlemen. And you don't want all those middlemen touching your food, okay? So, Blue Apron has pioneered a different model that delivers fresher, high-quality food from the farm to the kitchen, avoiding long and wasteful detours at costly grocery stores. Right now, Blue Apron is offering meals like spicy chicken sandwiches, mole spiced beef chili, crispy gnocchi, Swiss chard and potato shakshuka, and that's just the beginning. So, go to coldcanspodcast.com/Blue Apron, click on the link, and you'll get $30 off your first order. That's Blue Apron.
We're enjoying a fine Rolling Rock in today's episode. Back with you as always.
Rip that Band-Aid off right away.
Yeah.
Open that Rolling
No
Rock.
mystery. These are cold. We actually planned this one in advance.
This is one cold can. This is the first episode with a cold can.
An actual cold can. A nice cold Rolling Rock. Ooh, Rolling Rock is good.
Oh, please. No.
I have always liked Rolling Rock.
Okay.
For some reason, a while ago, I thought Rolling Rock was actually like an upscale beer.
Like recently in your life?
Yeah, in college, I think. I don't know. I never
Okay,
realized
well,
it was
that's reasonable
dirt
in
cheap.
college. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an upscale beer, but I like it. It's better than what we normally have.
I do have memories of it, I guess, and they're not all bad, but it's not a good beer.
Yeah. Well, we keep doing this. God damn it. Okay, but what's interesting, let's cut right to the chase. So Rolling Rock wants to honor the tradition of their great brand, and they quote from the original pledge of quality on every can or bottle that is red. So that is made. So I'm
red.
going to read said quote. Quote is, "From the glass-lined tanks of Old Latrobe, we tender this premium beer for your enjoyment as a tribute to your good taste. It comes from the mountain springs to you, 33.
And Rolling Rock, if you want to use that audio, contact us at Cold Cans Podcast on Twitter, and we will get you get a contract signed up for Joe Glock to do a little read over work.
I'm here for you guys. But what I'm questioning is that last bit. Again, it comes from the mountain springs to you, 33.
33, yes.
Something seems off with this read. And let's just say we've had some feedback that maybe Cold Cans isn't the most, doesn't have the highest journalistic standards in the industry. Maybe our podcast has been, quote unquote, lacking and subjective with our rankings. Well, fine. We heard your feedback and we went the extra mile today, folks. We decided to look into the mystery of why on every single can or bottle of Rolling Rock, they print in quotes 33. Both of us, I think, did some independent research.
Capital J journalism.
I was burning
today.
the midnight oil with some cold cans. Sometimes you get drunk, you swap the midnight oil in the cold cans. Yeah, they had to go to the hospital.
Very severe burns on your esophagus.
But ever since I returned from said hospital, I've packed my research in. Do you want to just kind of bounce some of these? So essentially, Rolling Rock, the beer, is named after a thoroughbred racehorse that was owned by the owners of Rolling Rock, hence the thoroughbred racehorse pictured on the bottle. But the number 33, which is printed prominently on all bottles of Rolling Rock, has no true origin. Many have speculated. So I know we've done research. I guess I can kick it off.
Right, yeah, the legends just go back and back, and it's tough to tell what's truth and what's fiction here, but
we
here
think
to
we broke it
separate
down.
that.
So
Yeah.
let's start going through some of the ones that we read. One easy one that a widely held belief I came across is that it marked the repeal of Prohibition, which happened in 1933.
Seems sensible. That was a big win for the alcohol industry and for the common man.
Sure.
Another idea is that the number of words in this slogan on the can is 33. There's 33 words in the slogan, and so they said, hey, reader, want to know how many words you just read? 33. There you go.
We'll save you time. It's 33. I came across, I joined a forum, a Rolling Rock fans forum. I was participating, got really deep into the community. Came across the fact that Rolling Rock is brewed by a company called Latrobe, in which it says in that thing from the glass-lined tanks of old Latrobe. And 33 refers to the founding year of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who hold their team practices in Latrobe.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was
a little
deep
football fandom going on
yep.
there. Steeler Nation, the terrible towels. Another one I heard through word of mouth. I was doing a little man on the street action,
gotta get boots on ground
asking
sometimes.
around town, kicking down doors. And it said 33 refers to the proper temperature in Fahrenheit that a beer should be kept.
Sure.
Just above freezing.
I could see that, printing it on the can, reminding people, you want to enjoy this premium beer at the highest possible quality, start at 33 degrees Fahrenheit.
And they all know everyone has exact temperature readings on their refrigerators.
If you're going to appreciate Rolling Rock, you better have a refrigerator with exact temperature.
Right.
You better. I was going through and found that there are 33 degrees of Scottish Rite Freemasonry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
You think that one's pretty getting close or no?
We may have got a bit farther away with that one.
Okay.
But I some of the subsequent ones I found are getting closer. So
Okay, here's one I found. Rolling Rock comes from Pennsylvania, as we've said, and that was a very Christian part of the country when America was first founded. And it still remains the same today. Good folk over there.
Yeah.
And the Christ, Jesus himself, was believed to be 33 years of age when he was crucified. And
Interesting.
yes, so that is where the number 33 might come from in honor of Jesus dying to
Our Lord and Savior.
Yeah, to wipe out the sins of everyone.
I found a parallel one as I was going through basically the idea that Jesus and Mary Magdalene were more than just what is remarked in the Bible, and that they were actually married. Was a
As popularized by Dan Brown.
But also before Dan Brown, I mean, he probably had a few Rolling Rocks and he stared at the bottle and saw 33 here and he looked into it a bit. And it was the brewing company in Latrobe which uncovered the fact that they were married. Though glorified from the Da Vinci Code, the basis of the theory came from a document found in the Gospel of Philip. And guess when it was found? 1933, folks.
Oh, no. Where was that found, Joe?
Found at 33 Latrobe Avenue in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is a coincidence.
Some may think it's a coincidence.
Okay, one more that I found was that the original brewer of Rolling Rock was a guy who valued physical fitness, and he was a 33-inch waist in high school, and he remained that throughout his life. And he wanted to remind people of that.
So bit narcissistic.
Yes. He put 33-inch waist on. So the cans originally said 33-inch waist on them, but some of the other shareholders talked him down from the waist part, so they just had
leave
33.
the number.
Right.
That's interesting because what I found is that now, look, terrorists of Al-Qaeda have claimed responsibility for the attacks that occurred on September 11th, 2001. But I'm pretty sure that the U.S. government knows, and the people should know, that a simple 33 pounds of jet fuel is not cutting through steel beams.
I don't even know how to respond to that. Wow, really makes you think. One more that I found that I'm starting to believe might be the truth here is that in the original brew of Rolling Rock, the alcohol percentage was 33, actually.
It's a 33% beer.
33% beer. I have a lot of reputable sources saying this. They said it was those were the salad days of beer drinking. You could drink one beer and be passed out
Yeah,
cold.
you're loaded.
Yes.
So they had to essentially warn you on the can then.
Right. So it's saying 33%, bigger than normal. That's much bigger than the normal ABV is given. That's 33.
Back off, bucko.
And essentially, like, dozens of people were dying because of alcohol poisoning, and
Did
Rolling
you get
Rock
a final
was forced.
tally on the death count? Do you know how many people died?
Come to think of it, I think it was 33 million.
Mother of God.
Yeah.
Seriously, 33 million people died.
From the original recipe of Rolling Rock.
I think you're onto something. I found one that's along those lines.
Okay.
This was another forum and community. I actually had to go to a couple meetings to sort of prove myself to be trustworthy before this was revealed to me. I was down in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, doing some of these meetings. Again, trying to get the boots on the ground for you guys. And what I heard from a former executive, essentially, is that you all may recall a little president by the name of John F. Kennedy.
I do.
Yeah, he was assassinated, and
Now that I didn't know.
and he was the government would have you believe that there was but one shooter in said assassination, and it was Lee Harvey Oswald. Hell, I'll tell you what, many shooters were abound, as many as, and I'll venture to say it, 33 shooters were on the grassy knoll that day and put 33 shots into one hole.
Wow.
Right, just to make sure it happened. And guess when this happened? It was November 22nd, 1963. Add up 1122 for me. What do you get?
Holy shit.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what happened 33 days after that. The Shroud of Turin was brought forth to the public, which many believe to be the cloth which covered the body of Christ. And some say it proves Jesus survived the crucifixion, that the Vatican tampered with the carbon dating results in order to protect the faith. We move beyond that. What happened, JFK was shot 33 times. 33 days later, the Shroud of Turin was brought forth to the public. And then 33 years to the day that happened.
Oh, no.
News spread of Princess Diana's death. And the princess was actually murdered by the royal family to stop Diana from releasing embarrassing and damaging information about her ex-husband, Prince Charles. You want to know how many people were in the royal family at the time? Let's just say I'll leave it to the imagination, folks.
Wow.
So we did a lot of research into these conspiracy theories. I came home. I had to go see a psychologist. I was shook to the core. I wanted to kind of dive into a little bit about essentially why people seem to trust conspiracy theories, why the Rolling Rock can has as many as it does.
Sure.
I don't know. Do you have a particular fascination or obsession over a particular conspiracy theory?
There is one that I heard recently that I really enjoy because I think it's, well, I'll just tell you what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's known that killer whales are not aggressive towards humans, like orcas of Free Willy fame.
Yeah.
Are not aggressive when they see a human. Like, they'll kill anything else essentially that they come across, but throughout history they've been known to not be aggressive towards humans. So there are different theories as to why that may be. Mm-hmm. There are different Native American stories about it, and there are biological ideas about it. It's something of they had a mutually beneficial relationship with humans throughout history in some way, whether it was feeding or protection or whatever. But there is another theory that has cropped up based on the fact that during World War I and World War II, the U.S. Navy is known to have used killer whales as target practice when practicing to
Sure.
fire at submarines.
Sure, yeah.
And there are other instances of the U.S. Military attacking killer whales. In Iceland, they went up there and killed a bunch of killer whales off the coast of Iceland because they were messing up the fishermen's fishing nets and things like that. This says they destroyed hundreds of killer whales with machine guns, rockets, and depth charges.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. None of this is good stuff. But the theory goes that killer whales are so smart that they remember that happening, humans killing them in droves.
And presumably they're passing this down.
Right, they're passing the knowledge on
Yeah.
to each other.
Sure.
And that's why, to this day, killer whales respect
Wow.
humans and stay clear of them, don't attack them.
Wow. Well, either respect or are
fear.
biding their time. Fear,
Ooh.
respect, or biding their time before an uprising.
Okay.
Sort of Sharknado type situation where we're going to get our payback, baby.
Yeah, when the big one comes and it's just a tsunami wave full of killer whales, all with their mouths agape, coming down at you as we look up,
Yeah.
all with our sniper rifles in hand, because we are all responsible.
You heard it here first, folks. Cold Cans breaking news.
Yeah, that's my favorite conspiracy theory.
I don't really have a favorite. I like the idea of conspiracy theories. I'm always intrigued when somebody's talking about one, even when they're like local ones, like almost like urban myths and folklore, like locally of so-and-so, they died 22 years ago. They've just been walking around Green Lake ever since. It's that kind of shit. It's all fun to me. The thing I've looked into is, so apparently this guy, Barkin, this doctor, professor, or whatever, diagnosed in increasing order of breadth 3 types of conspiracy theories. So he starts with event conspiracy theories, which is a conspiracy theory responsible for a limited or discrete event or series of events. So they focus their energies on like a well-defined objective. So we talked about the Kennedy assassination when the folks at Rolling Rock captured that and clued into it, Dan Brown style in their bottle.
Right.
But, there's other things around September 11th attacks, crash of TWA Flight 800, spread of AIDS, that kind of thing. The next sort of level up from that breadth is systemic conspiracy theories. So believed to have broad goals, usually conceived of securing control of a country, region, or entire world. Basically, the denial of the Holocaust, people who focus on the Freemasons, the Catholic Church, things like that, other theories centered on communism. And then there's a third level, which I didn't even really think about, and that's super conspiracy theories. So these are conspiratorial constructs in which multiple conspiracies are believed to link together hierarchically, sort of like my last piece of research.
Yeah, so, you're onto this one, I think.
So basically, these are the systemic conspiracies are joined in complex ways so that they come to be nested within one another. So at the summit of the conspiratorial hierarchy is a distant but all-powerful evil force manipulating lesser conspiratorial actors. So basically, we may think the government and such is in on it, but there's always a higher force beyond that. And then that essentially amounts to what could potentially be God. And it's what gives order and restoration into the universe. So there's authors like Milton William Cooper and David Icke that basically write about this theory.
So super conspiracy theory basically is just taking away human agency. That's
essentially, yeah. It's
right.
taking away free will. And it's basically saying that it's kind of like that lab coat experiment where if you give somebody a uniform, they think they have power. And so what essentially is that there is some level, maybe your boss is in on this conspiracy theory that is keeping you down and keeping you numb, but his boss is in on that. And then it goes up the chain and nobody knows that the other one's in. It's like this spy novel, basically. But it goes all the way up to some abstract power of consciousness that is governing everybody, essentially God.
And keeping everyone in check.
Keeping everyone in check.
No one knows about anyone else being in it.
And also making people feel comfortable. I mean, that is what I think is what makes conspiracy theories so interesting, is that, okay, this is what underlies the political nature of our world. This is why Donald Trump was elected president. It's not just randomness and people are dumb. It's that Donald Trump was part of this greater plan that we can't do anything about, but we can kind of complain about. It's just, I have a theory.
Yeah.
And basically one of the most important characteristics of this is that there is a real but hidden power. And that means that there's not just randomness and chaos, but it's all going according to plan. And we can gripe about the plan, but we're all sort of comfortably in that. And that's why we wake up and we consume and we buy a bunch of shit we don't need. And we go to work every day and we don't really ask why we're doing any of these things. And we're unhappy. We're just doing them.
And these ideas, though, the conspiracy thing that everything's being controlled, this totally takes away our responsibility for our lives being shit.
Totally. It's the external locus of control,
right.
Which is just like, it's not my fault. It's just
someone's doing something to me.
I was either dealt a bad
successful.
hand or someone was doing something to me, or like when there's death and people say, how could like a God or anything allow something like this? It's because there was not a higher plan in necessarily a good way, but a plan in it's the grand scheme of things.
This is leading to something, yeah.
Right. And
this is just one more domino that's falling.
Right. So anyway, Rolling Rock's a pretty good beer.
Yeah, now that I said that at the beginning, I am starting to enjoy it. It's not bad.
And I know they left us this clue, which put us down the rabbit hole, but I still enjoy the beer. And I think that in all seriousness, the idea of conspiracy theories sort of joining us all together and letting us sort of put our journalistic caps on and try to while maybe they're not as fantastical in real life as some of the things we've talked about, letting us question sort of why things work the way they do, even in a world that's most likely governed by randomness and chance, is a healthy thing. So we will be reluctant to become numb. So they do have a function in society.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to make, that at least there's not just acceptance of, what we're dissatisfied with. There's at least some kind of impetus to explain it in some way.
What's going on here?
Right.
What's the Rube Goldberg machine behind this whole thing? Tell me why I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how journalism starts. That's what got us off of our butts and into the streets to find the reason behind
and
33.
We should then come back to what many regard as the accurate and accepted reason for the number 33. Basically, a founding executive is said to have written 33 at the end of the slogan to indicate the number of words it comprised as a guide for the bottle printers.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, there's going to be 33 words here. Don't miss any of them. The bottle printers then assumed it was part of the text and incorporated it into the label graphics, and here we are today.
And you see this happen all the time. Like there's some website that gets published and then under a picture it says, somebody come up with a caption for this. And that's what it says because no one caught it when they were just firing it out. And I work in marketing and this happens all the time too. Like,
yeah,
that's why I put everything in bold, all caps letters, and in red if I'm ever trying to just say,
this
like,
is
I
not
need help
part
here.
of it.
This is not part of it. Yeah.
Don't put the George Foreman description as I need help here. It's like
don't we all?
We've all seen the video of the old Hercules TV series where he's looking around and he reads a parenthetical script note and he says, "This isn't my world. Disappointed." It's essentially the same theory.
It is. And I love that, and that's why it seems the most plausible that that's what actually happened.
All our research for naught? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think we wasted a lot of time.
Ah, shit.
Whose best interest was it in for us to waste all that time?
Maybe it wasn't a waste. Latrobe sent us on this wild goose chase to track down the origins of 33 so that they could mask the fact that their bottlers misprinted years and years ago.
No, I think they're masking the fact that this is bad beer. It's real
I guess
bad
we
beer.
should come to our ratings and reviews. Did we already read the rating from Better Beer?
No, we didn't. The Better Beer Business Bureau.
What is it?
Beer Advocate.
BeerAdvocate.com. Okay, what did we get?
This is probably controlled by the execs at Latrobe Brewing anyway.
Every dollar you spend in Latrobe Brewing is going back to Barry Obama's penthouse, if you think about it.
Oh, Jesse Ventura joining the show.
Yeah, he did join.
Oh, man. Jesse the Body.
James Adomian's take on Jesse Ventura.
Right, yeah. All right, the Beer Advocate score. The experts give it a 63, which is
30 higher than 33.
Fuck. 1 month is 30
Beer
days.
Advocates, the Better Beer Advocates Bureau is getting invested in this. 1 month is 30 days, 33 days.
The whole thing's being bankrolled by the Latrobe Brewing Company.
And Latrobe Brewing Company is positioned in the basement of Barry's penthouse at the top of Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
They use his piss as the base for their beer.
Which is why it's a pour in the Better Business Bureau's determination of Rolling Rock.
It is. A 63 is rated as poor. So,
well, what's your rating?
I agree. I
suppose
really
we
don't
should
like
dig up
this
the
beer.
old rankings. You don't like the beer. So far, our rankings, Kona Longboard is 1, followed by Rainier, Einger Brew Ice, Molson, Miller Lite, Olympia, and Smirnoff Ice. I think we can all agree this is better beer than Olympia and Smirnoff Ice. Let's take them right off the goddamn thing.
Yes.
I prefer this over both Molson and Miller Lite.
As do I.
You do? Okay.
Oh, Joe. Your body does not prefer it seems.
Yeah, maybe I'm rejecting it. Einger Brow Ice, I'm not going to put Rolling Rock ahead of that, but what's your take?
I was comfortable putting it ahead of Einger, but I would not have put it any higher than that. I have a memory of Rolling Rock. I drank this in college. It like you said at the beginning, it was one of those beers that was like the step up or whatever.
Right.
But I remember drinking it, getting really drunk on it. One of the first times I was ever really drunk. And then I didn't eat anything like all the next day. And I was just feeling so bad in my stomach.
So,
I've since come to realize that once you're hungover or shit, you should eat something and then you can get it out of you.
So tell you a life lesson.
Sure, maybe that should put it up in the rankings.
You need to eat. No,
Thank you,
I
Latrobe.
think sure, it taught you a life lesson, but at the same time, it's bad. It made you hungover. It can't be higher than Iyengar.
And it just ruined my stomach, yeah. That's
So
what
you
I'm-
do want to put below Iyengar.
Sure, yeah.
So then we would slot
comfortable
this
with
in
that.
currently at number 4 in our rankings.
Number
Kona,
4.
Rainier, Iyengar, and finally Rolling Rock. Folks, if you have a conspiracy theory or a real definition of why 33 is printed on the back of the can yourself, let us know.
Tweet at us, folks.
Tweet at us. Can you give them our Twitter handle, Nick?
It's at Cold Cans Podcast. Use hashtag Cold Cans Cold Case, and we'll solve it for you.
Talk to you guys next week.
The Cold Cans Podcast is recorded in the Overcast Room at Cloud Studios in Seattle, Washington. Visit cloudstudiosseattle.com